Alrighty, rocking and rolling. It is the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. Let's talk a little bit about football and tailgating, and we'll do so right now with the former NFL player, longtime NFL analyst, and Merril Hoge, who's kind enough to join us. Merril, appreciate the time as always. How you been, my man?
Zach, I'm good, brother. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks so much for coming on. So I know you're big in the tailgating world these days. What a set, as people could watch us live on YouTube right now to see Merril spread. What do you got cooking these days?
Yeah, things have changed over the last couple of decades. Let's first start with the TV, the LG OLED B4 TV. There's up to 83 inches, but this visual right here, that's a 65-inch, 8 million self-lit pixels. So even outside, even if the sun's out, it looks beautiful, even though it's not an outdoor television. So it's crystal clear picture. And then the Dolby sound makes it incredible. And you'll like this, up to $1,400 off for selected sizes. And then this right here, I thought it was the cooler, this Jackery. Tailgate, home gate needs power. The Jackery 1000 B2 is portable and powerful. Everything from music, grill, TV, and you know your phone's going to start dying. It'll even charge that up. And if you go to overtime, don't worry about it. You got a solar panel. It's going to keep it alive, so it's going to charge everything. And use this code, HOMEGATING at Jackery.com, $200 off of the regular price. So money to be saved here. And you got to eat. The visual works, but it's the new double Sonic Smasher premium cheeseburger, $7, hand smash, made to order. Okay, so Angus beef. I tell people it's easier to buy them than it is to make them. So pull up there, order 30, 40, how many ever you need, and you're going to look like the king when you pull up. And then the Cricut Joy Extra DIY smart cutting machine. This tiny little thing actually made this, but it cuts up to 50 materials, vinyl, cardstock, and these iron-ons, like I mentioned. And it's compact. You can move this around, and you can do a lot of things with it. And it's a game changer for the tailgate. Custom team logos, players, names, decals. I mean, all of these coasters, cups, koozies were made, so you can save yourself a lot of money. This is under $200. You make your own merch. You look amazing. You put this team together, your tailgate or home gate, going to be a home run.
So on Sunday, when you take a look at your Steelers on your nice TV, you got the music going, you got the burgers, and the phone's fully charged, and you're watching that football team, it's expected that Justin Fields getting the start once again for an injured Russell Wilson. What do you want to see Fields do and the next step he takes from week 1 to week 2, where the Steelers are able to secure a week 1 victory against the Falcons?
Well, really kind of just build on what he did last week. And he did a really good job last week. Now, the one thing that he probably missed a couple throws that he could have made, and you'd want him to make those throws in this game. You know, they got an explosive play in the passing game. They got an explosive play in the running game. Oftentimes, this is how we talk in our meetings, is when you get an explosive play, let's get a touchdown off of it, because you don't get those very often. They're hard to come by. So instead of getting field goals, we got to look at touchdowns. So just complementing those things a little better. You know, it doesn't have to be a massive leap. You're not going to ask him to throw it 40 or 50 times and play from the pocket and do all that. That's not going to be asked of him. Just get a little better on what we did or didn't do last week. We're going to do what we better in the running game. That'll be our foundation. And if he can keep building from that perspective, it'll help that offense overall.
It's going to be fascinating moving forward. Like if they start off 2-0 and Fields plays well this weekend, then the Chargers are next week. It's like, I don't see how you bench Fields, even if Russ is ready to return and ready to rock and roll.
Listen, I think in most experiences, and I've coached to at every level too, is people earn the right to play. And, you know, I wouldn't see that he has done anything to ruin that. You know, he's got to play well. And if as long as he builds on what he did. And I do like, you know, Justin Fields kind of got a unfair shake in our league, because the one thing you don't want to have, this call it all players, not just a quarterback, but especially a quarterback. When you keep changing your offensive system every year, it's hard to get good at anything. And this is his 4th offensive coordinator in his 4th year. So give him a chance to kind of build off something for a couple of years. Then you're going to find out what you really have. But what you see right now is exciting. He did a lot of things with these legs. He was smart with that. Missed some throws that he can make and he needs to make, and hopefully he'll make this week, and that will help that offense probably score touchdowns versus get field goals.
Merril Hoge here with us. I'm fascinated to see what happens here on out with Russell Wilson. Like if Fields continues to play well and he's the guy moving forward, you know, Russ leaves Seattle. The 2 years in Denver weren't successful. Who knows when he's going to get on the field in Pittsburgh. I wonder if he's starting to think at all, maybe this is the end of the NFL career in his mid-30s?
Well, he's had a great run. I mean, anybody wins a Super Bowl. I mean, I got my mask all the time. You miss it. I missed what I didn't accomplish, and I didn't win a Super Bowl. So that's the only reason I played. So you have the luxury of being able to have done that. He eroded quickly, and the way he went out, or if he goes out and he doesn't play anymore, I'm sure he'd be disappointed by that. But I don't have a sense that will happen. Somebody will probably, a lot of people need quarterbacks, that can manage. One thing he has is a lot of experience. He's a great compliment, though. He's not going to be, an elite player like a Ben Roethlisberger or a Tom Brady or a Peyton Manning, but he can do stuff to help you rebuild if you're looking for that. So I still think there'll be work for him, even if it isn't in Pittsburgh.
Merril Hoge here with us. Are you concerned about the Jets, or is it, hey, they just went up against the 49ers in week 1, and we know that's just one of the best teams in the NFL?
Well, I'm more concerned. Listen, a defense that was supposed to be and was pretty good last year did not look like the defense that they even were last year. Here's one of the most critical components if you're going to win consistently. This is true across the board, and this has been going on for decades since the league was created. You have to control the tempo. That means if you can run the football, you control that defense, and you actually help your own defense because I control the tempo of the game. So if you have a defense that can't stop the run, man, you're always playing catch up. You never can control the tempo. And that's why people want to stop it and start it. If you can do those things, you do that, and then you control the turnover battle, that gives you a great chance to win consistently. When you can't do that, it's hard to win in this league. And so they're going to have to button that up for that team to get to where, Aaron Rodgers ain't going to offset all that. That's too much.
Merril Hoge here with us. Anytime we get close to the NFL draft, there's always these legendary evaluations that repop up on social media that you've been on the right side of. When I look at all the first-round quarterbacks from this past draft, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix, I know McCarthy's out for the year. But long-term, out of those 6 guys that went in the first 12 picks, who do you think is the best out of that group?
Well, I've said it, since they came out. Jaden Daniels really has the two things that you need. And Bo Nix has this too. Penix had it. You got to process and be accurate. Then and they woven as one. They work as one. If you don't have these two and they're working together, it's a hard challenge to play in our league because you got to play from the pocket. You got to win from the pocket. You got to be good from the pocket. And he's done that. And he did it at LSU. And I watched him at Arizona State. So I watched him evolve and grow. And he has some dynamicness with his legs that can get you out of trouble. He does a good job of managing his body and getting down. And he really processed and was accurate. Of all the 3 that played on Sunday, he was purely the best, from the pocket, from that aspect. Did he make some mistakes? Yes. Did he miss some throws? Yes. But overall, he didn't look overwhelmed. And his pocket presence, his feel, his accuracy, and his processing was really pretty good. Even though he missed some throws, he threw it to the right person. And he didn't make a lot of mistakes from that. He got away with one mistake. But from a rookie perspective, he played the best out of all 3 of them.
What do you think Caleb Williams will be as a pro quarterback?
Well, that's just going to be it's an arduous journey because the 2 things I just talked about, he's never been good in the pocket. He doesn't know how to play in the pocket. He fights the pocket. He sees the pressure versus feels the pressure. And at our level, you have to feel it. It has to have a presence where you just slide and you move and then you throw, and he drops his head. He looks for pressure. He doesn't process things very well. He gets stuck on people. If you keep getting in that environment, you keep getting beat up and they don't win, it can go south quickly. That's why I say that a guy like that should have sat for a year. I mean, that's exactly what he needed. Even his accuracy started to erode, and I liked his accuracy coming out of college. But all these other things I just mentioned, he didn't do well in college. He's played like that forever, So to have to learn that at the highest level with the smartest and best athletes, it's just a lot. It's a big ask. It's a big ask. It doesn't mean it can't get done. It's just the odds are against it.
So your expectation, if you have like a bad quarterback, an average quarterback, a good quarterback, and then a franchise quarterback, where would you put him in those 4 categories?
Well, right now he's a below average quarterback. I mean, in our league, he's just a below average quarterback. He doesn't function well in the pocket. He doesn't process things well. That's damaging. He doesn't even have pocket presence. That's really a big concern. And he's not going to outrun anybody. He's not going to. And his size, he's 6'1". He's not like a 6'3" guy. That's some of in Carolina's problems. You got a guy who's 5'9". That's that does matter if you can't do all those other things at a high level. And he's a long ways from a high level. Let's say 10's a high level. In all the areas I just talked about, he's around a 3. So there's a massive growth that has to take place for him to offset being 6'1".
Last thing I'll ask you, Merril Hoge, we got a game tonight. You have the Buffalo Bills going to Miami to go up against the Miami Dolphins. Josh Allen, Tua Tagovailoa. Who do you like in the contest tonight on Thursday night to kick off week 2?
I like Buffalo. Buffalo. I think they've improved both sides. I think Josh Allen. What scares me about Josh Allen, though, I mean, he just tries. There's so much. He does so much that he needs a little more of the team to take some of that pressure off him, especially from the running perspective. But I like Buffalo's team. I like what I saw in week 1. They're very evenly matched their division, and division opponents are always most difficult to really decipher because they know each other so well. But I like Buffalo. I like Buffalo in this one.
Well, I love your tailgate setup. This is an awesome sit that you have, and I always enjoy when you jump on board with us. Thanks so much, Merril Hoge.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it, brother.